I'm Josh with Waupaca Community Media, joined once again Aaron Jensen from the city of Waupaca and Ron Sari from the Waupaca School District. And how are you guys doing this week?
Hey, terrific, Josh. Thanks.
Good, thanks.
And this was the big election week, and we'll quickly go through those results and kind of repeat on both sides. Most of the incumbents back, but one new person on each the city council and school board. So, Aaron, what does city council look like now as a result of that election?
Yeah, so last night, Mary Fair, Paul Hagan, Scott Perchatsky, and Dimitri Martin are all revoted as older persons for their districts, and we're excited to have them back. And then one new one, Colin Dykstra, will be new to council. I'm looking forward to giving him a phone call this afternoon and kind of welcoming him to the governing body of the city of Waupaca, and I look forward to working with him and bringing his expertise to the table. So that'll be good.
And then, Ron, you've got one new person joining your school board as well.
Yeah, we do. Steve Klismet, who has been involved with the district over the last couple of years on our strategic planning committee, and he was a member of the stakeholder group. He decided to run, and he is a challenger who did get on. And then we have, of course, Mark Polubisky, who was an incumbent, and Betty Mannion, who was an incumbent as well. So those three won and will be on. And, you know, it's one of those things, it's exciting and sad at the same time. You develop relationships with everybody on your board. And it's a little sad when things change, but that's just the way it is. Somebody asked me the other day, you know, about the election, and I said, you know, I try not to think about it. I have no control over it. Those are my bosses. And whoever it is, we're going to do our best to work with them and continue to work to help the district be more effective and grow and improve. So we're just excited with you know, that's over and behind us, and we're going to move forward.
Very good. And Ron, we'll stay with you. And I know you study the COVID statistics in this county. I know you have some to share based on vaccination status and maybe some predictions based on kind of the amount that's been able to be vaccinated each week in the county. So what have you been seeing?
Well, you know, Josh, there's a lot of different factors. The first is, as I mentioned previously, that our staff as a district, a school district, is 81% of our staff are vaccinated. So that brings us in, you know, the herd immunity impact. At the same time, when we look at the county data regarding vaccinations, 29% of our staff or of our population in our community are vaccinated as of today. 29%. That's 14,810 individuals. And we also know that 73.4% of our people age 65 and older are also vaccinated. And they are our most vulnerable population, that 65 and older group. So 73.4% of them are vaccinated. That's herd immunity area there. And I then looked at the last week's data, the last 3 weeks' data on the number of vaccines given. And they average over the last 3 weeks, 2,570 vaccines each of those 3 weeks. And it up and down, but mostly growing as time goes on because the supply is increasing. And so then I, you know, extrapolate that out. We have 8 more weeks of vaccinations before we get to June, and when we have graduation scheduled for June 6th. So if we are able to do 2,500, and that's just being on the low end, 2,500 per week over 8 weeks, that's over 20,000 additional people being vaccinated in our county. And if you think about that, that'll bring us into the 60 to 75% range. And if not herd immunity, pretty close to herd immunity. So as a school district and as a community member living in our community too, just wanting to really encourage people to go to the county website and sign up to get a vaccination, because the sooner we get a vaccination, the sooner it is that life becomes more normal. I asked our county health official last week when we were meeting, hey, if we get herd immunity and it's June and the county has herd immunity, would we be able to not have to wear masks like we're having to wear masks all the time? And he said, yeah, we get herd immunity. We don't have to do that. So it's exciting. That's how we're looking at it and hoping that people take that seriously, and we get that herd immunity.
And that ties right into the next topic. There's people out there still wondering, is school going to go back to 5 days a week this school year? Can masks come off at this point? And I know at least the rest of the school year, you're kind of holding steady where things are at, and there's some reasons behind that.
Yeah, exactly. The 5 days a week, we looked into it. I would love to go to 5 days a week. Don't get me wrong. But at the same time, at the beginning of the year, we promised our families that we would provide this year that option for the live remote learning, the on-demand remote learning, and the in-person learning. And in order for our staff to be able to do that, we have to have that Wednesday where they're able to meet with some of the remote learning students, the in-person learning students, to help them keep up. And unfortunately, we are going to stay in this 4 day per week for this year. We plan next year, Josh, to be 5 days a week. And then regarding the masks, well, in August, before the year started, our board voted to put the mask policy in place for this school year. Once the school year's over, we're done with it. But I don't think it's a bad idea as we're moving towards herd immunity. And if before graduation we're at herd immunity, that's just a great thing. Hopefully then we wouldn't have to wear masks at summer school.
And speaking of summer school, we want to remind people that registration for summer school is open, and it looks like you're trending a little bit lower than average.
Yeah, unfortunately, we're lower than we would be pre-COVID. So just wanted to remind parents, please, if you're interested in your children attending summer school, please register, go to the school and get that registration, and we're still accepting them.
And what are some of the advantages for students to entertain the idea of going to summer school? What does that help out?
Well, some of it has to do with the learning gap and catching up. And some of the classes are enrichment classes, and the kids really love participating in them. So it's a 5 day a week summer school program, and it goes in the mornings only.
Very good. And then Aaron, anyone that's been paying attention to the weather, it's felt like summer since late last week and into this week. We've been into the 80s, and it kind of feels like we're skipping spring. But no matter what the weather does, one thing we can't skip are cleaning up leaves and debris left in our yards from the fall or over the winter. And it's leaf and brush pickup time for city residents.
Yeah, with the warm weather and the melting snow also comes the realization of a lot of yard work that needs to be done. So throughout the month of April, all city residents, you can take advantage of the service of the leaf and brush pickup. So basically put in all of those leaves, smaller sticks, less than 3 inches in diameter, put in garbage bags, clear garbage bags, less than 35 pounds, and put them in the terrace, and we'll come and pick them up for you. It's not intended for someone cutting down a tree and for us hauling larger logs away or anything like that. But if you do miss that pickup in April, just know that you can also take it to the Waupaca Area Recycling Center. But just a reminder that is a service, and anyone who wants to get their stuff hauled away, leaves and brush, should get it out in the terrace.
Perfect. Well, Ron, Aaron, once again, thank you for the time to get our community up to date with what's going on.
Hey, you're welcome.
Thank you, Josh.